Only a fool would take one side of the story and form an opinion of someone based on what someone else tells them about that person. Only a fool. Without getting to know that individual for themselves, or at least having a couple of, you know, good conversations, meaningful conversations to see where a person mind at, see what type of, how they think. Because once you have a conversation with meaningful conversations, and someone you get to sharing your thoughts with one another, you kind of can get a good grasp for the type of character one have, and then that way you can form an opinion of that individual for yourself, as opposed to just taking somebody's word for it. Because things aren't always as they appear. The old saying, you can't judge a book by its cover. Things aren't always as they appear. See, something may look a certain way, and then a manipulator can take that and twist it, knowing that people are ignorant, and they can twist the truth, meaning they can tell half-truths and mix those half-truths with lies in order to manipulate others and use them against the person that's the target. You see? But only a fool would go for that. You see? Someone with a sound mind, they're going to listen, but then they're going to go and find out for themselves. They're going to say, well, you know what? I know what he or she is saying, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a conversation with this person for myself. Few conversations and form my own opinion before I just readily just judge someone based on what somebody else saying. Before I, that's what somebody of a sound mind is going to do. They're not just going to take someone's, opinion off of something. It's kind of the same thing you see with the internet, right? What's going on online. Pick a topic, any topic, okay? And they just judge people based off a story. It happens a lot. They just make up a lie and put it out there, and it gains traction, and then people take it, repost it, and the truth becomes a lie. It happens all the time. We all see that. It's kind of like that. And what people do is they don't bother in doing any investigation at all. They don't look nothing up. They don't even go, they don't try to read anything, get the facts. They just take what somebody is saying and then repeat it as if it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my thought of the day. Don't be a fool. It don't matter what something look like. There's a reason for everything. Somebody not doing something, why don't you find out why? Ask them. Have a conversation with them. Have a conversation with them. Find out for yourself. Don't just go off of what someone's saying or how something look. Something could look a certain way, but could be a valid reason for it. You understand what I'm saying? And what's even worse is when people know the truth. They know the individual who's spinning and manipulating and telling half-truths. They know the individual. They know them well. And yet and still, they'll go for it anyway. You see that with families. families and best friends, whatever, family members, they'll know their family member, their loved one, is lying or covering up some stuff, not telling the full truth. They know that, but they'll cover for them and they'll go with it because this other individual is not a family member. You know, like for if you're in a relationship with somebody, you know, and that man is telling half truths and spinning truths, whatever have you, you know what I'm saying? Or that woman is spinning and telling half truths and mixing truths with lies. Usually the family members is gonna go with it, even though they know they full of shit and they bullshitting. They'll go with it anyway because that's their family. You know, blood thicker than water. You know what I'm saying? But a real one, even if that's their family member, is going to say, wait a minute. What's the rest of the story? You're leaving some stuff out. They might not call them out on it right there in front of that person they're lying about, but they'll pull them to the side one-on-one. So, okay, now what's the full story? Because I know you're not telling everything. You leaving a lot out. What's the rest of it? See what I'm saying? This is something that's on my mind. And there's a lot of fools out there, but don't be a fool. Wherever you are, don't find out for yourself. Get to know a person for yourself before you just judge someone or say you don't like someone or look at someone, cast a negative light on somebody based off what somebody else is telling you. Find out for yourself. Ask yourself, hold on, I'm feeling a certain way. Have I had any real meaningful conversations with this individual? Have I spent time with him or her? Have I actually taken the time to get to know them? You know what I mean? Because I guarantee you there's a lot that you don't know. Why? Because most people, especially manipulator or narcissist, what they do is they keep all their bones in the closet. They keep all their bones in the closet. You know what I mean? You know, it's kind of like walking into a house and the house look clean. You think the house is clean until you start opening up some bedroom doors, you know what I mean? Or you go use the bathroom is filthy, or you check the closet. You know what I mean? Look up under the bed, trash and dirty clothes, whatever is up under the bed or whatnot. You know what I mean? Until you really look. But if you just pop your head in and look in the door, oh, it's clean. You know what I'm talking about? It's kind of like that. They're good at hiding their trash. You know, they hide their trash and then point the finger. Look how dirty he is. Look how dirty she is. And they always cast themselves as the victim. You know what I mean? You know, these wizards with words and these wizards and witches who know how to spin. You know what I mean? You know, so be careful out there. Be careful if you're in a situation like that. Best thing to do, my advice, walk away. It's a waste of energy trying to defend yourself or tell the full truth because they're not going to listen to you. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to listen to you. Okay? They're not. You're wasting your energy. You're wasting your breath. You might as well just go on about your business and move on with your life. Best thing to do, and move forward and leave it alone. Because I tell you what, eventually what happens is this. Once you remove yourself out of the picture and you're no longer there, you're out of that frame, what happens is they wind up turning on each other. You know what I'm saying? They turn on each other eventually, and then that dirt wind up coming out. You know, that's how it happens. People who do crap like that, they answer for it and they pay for it. You know, they're gonna have to show their hands, and when they show their hands are dirty. You know what I mean? Especially situations where the people know that family member, they know that individual is a liar, they know they hide truth, they know they got skeletons in the closet, they know how dirty they are for real, and they just you know, protecting them against someone. You know, the blood thicker than water thing. Oh, that's my best friend. You know, yeah, they'll protect them until they become the target, right? And then that's when the truth come out, when they start beefing. You know, something that's on my mind. And again, for those of you who are in a situation where you're dealing with something like that, go on about your business. Go on about your business. Ladies, leave that man alone. Fellas, leave that woman alone. Go on about your business. Don't waste your time trying to defend yourself and convince anybody of nothing. They're not going to listen to you at all. Go on about your business. Remove yourself take yourself out the frame. Take yourself out the picture completely. You know, the truth gonna come out. You don't need to hear about it. You don't need to hear about it. You don't need to see it when it happens. But trust me, it will, because the energy that you cast out is the energy that you're gonna have to deal with. It'll come right back at you and smack you in the head like a boomerang. I'm King B. Love yourself unconditionally. Shout out to each and every one of you. Keep your loved ones close. Be honest. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be completely honest with yourselves. Be honest with others. There's no need to play those type of games. You know what I'm saying? Protect the babies, the children, the women, men. Let's look out for one another. Let's protect our communities, our families. Keep them all safe. Right? There's a lot going on out there. Earthquakes ramping up. Volcanic activity ramping up. Be careful out there. Parts of the world is flooding. Whatever's not flooding is on fire. Be careful, right? Be careful, pay attention, know what's going on. Have these type of conversations while you're sitting at the breakfast table, or you know, you're having lunch together, or you're at the dinner table. Have these conversations. Know what's going on. Stay informed and prepare, and make sure you plan. And when you think you plan enough, plan some more. You're not done. Okay? To the next video. Peace.